A ride that defined the future of Disney thrills. A dark, mysterious journey through the cosmos that's been reimagined, rebuilt, and replicated across the globe. I know I've kind of covered this attraction on an earlier video here, but this ride deserves its own episode. My name is Park Hopper Chris, and this is Sunday Ride Showcase, the series where every week I take an attraction from around the world and dive into its history, how it works, and its impact on the theme park world. And today on episode 38 of Sunday Ride Showcase, we're taking a journey to the stars in the coolest way possible. This is Space Mountain. Before we get into the video, real quick, I just need to say this. There are 91.2% of you who aren't subscribed who keep coming back. Dude, it's literally free.
Oh my god! Wow!
It costs you nothing and at the same time helps me out tremendously. So please, do me a favor and just press subscribe, especially if you keep coming back and you enjoy the content. Just do it. Go now. Okay? Bye. Thanks. The 1960s were an age of wonder. Space exploration was inspiring the world, and Walt Disney had already set his sights on bringing the future to life in Tomorrowland. With attractions like Rocket to the Moon and Flight to the Moon, guests could imagine the great unknown, but Walt wanted more. He envisioned a roller coaster that simulated spaceflight, a ride through the cosmos itself. The concept first appeared in the mid-1960s as the Spaceport Project, but the technology of the time couldn't make it possible. Walt passed away in 1966, and the idea was shelved, but Imagineers never forgot it. It wasn't until the success of Disneyland's Matterhorn bobsleds and advances in computer-aided design that the dream could finally come true. By the early 1970s, Disney wanted a new thrill for Magic Kingdom. Something modern and different. Space Mountain became that answer. Using newly developed technology, engineers created a dual-track indoor roller coaster housed entirely inside a massive white dome. It would combine darkness, sound, and light to simulate flight through space. Construction began in 1972 and opened officially on January 15, 1975. Making it the first indoor coaster ever built at Walt Disney World. The structure stands 183 feet tall and housed two intertwined tracks, Alpha and Omega. Each track offered subtle variations in layout, giving riders slightly different experiences. But the real magic wasn't just in the track, it was in the show synchronized soundtrack, the pitch black setting, and the feeling of weightlessness as you whipped around glowing comets and meteors. Guests had never seen, or rather felt, anything like it. After the success in Florida, Disney brought Space Mountain to Disneyland in 1977. The California version had a single track but a sleeker design, smaller footprint, and more refined effects. Over the years, it became one of the park's defining attractions. Other versions later appeared in Tokyo Disneyland in 1983, Disneyland Paris in 1995, and Hong Kong Disneyland in 2005. Each iteration reflected its home park's culture and era. Paris's version was particularly bold, featuring a launch system and a storyline inspired by Jules Verne's From the Earth to the Moon. Disneyland's overlay of Hyperspace Mountain brought Star Wars into the mix, turning an already thrilling coaster into an intergalactic battle. Across all versions, Space Mountain remained a symbol of Disney's innovation and storytelling. From a technical standpoint, Space Mountain is deceptively simple, but perfectly executed. The coaster itself is made by Aerodynamics, known for Matterhorn and other early Disney coasters. It's a chain lift system. No fancy launches, just old school mechanical precision. The real trick is the illusion of speed. Because the ride is mostly in total darkness, riders can't see upcoming turns or drops. That sensory deprivation makes every twist feel faster and every dip feel deeper. Small lights, projections, and sound cues trick the brain into believing you're soaring at incredible speeds, when in reality the coaster only hits around 27 miles per hour. The trains use a unique single-file seating design, one rider per row, which enhances the sensation of flight. The ride also uses block sections, controlled by computer systems. This prevents multiple trains from colliding. Each section has its own brake and dispatch system, a major innovation for its time. When Space Mountain first opened, it didn't feature synchronized music. The soundtrack was ambient and played throughout the building. It wasn't until the 1990s refurbishment that synchronized onboard audio became part of the experience. Composer Michael Giacchino later reimagined the score, blending orchestral elements with futuristic synths to give each turn and drop its own rhythm. The synchronization between music, movement, and visuals elevated Space Mountain from just a coaster to a cinematic experience. Over the years, Space Mountain has seen multiple refurbishments. The 2009 Disneyland overhaul replaced the entire track for smoother performance and updated its projection and lighting systems. Walt Disney World's version in Magic Kingdom has remained mostly faithful to its original form, though it has received lighting and queue upgrades. In 2020, the attraction celebrated its 45th anniversary, still one of the most popular rides in the park. Its endurance is proof that simplicity, when done right, can be timeless. Each international Space Mountain tells a slightly different story. At Tokyo Disneyland, the 2027 rebuild will completely reinvent the attraction with a sleeker, more modern look and new effects. At Disneyland Paris, forgive me for my enunciation, but the coaster evolved from De la Terre à Lune to Mission 2, and now Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain. And in Hong Kong Disneyland, which launched with the park's opening in 2005, was heavily inspired by the California version, featuring a nearly identical track layout but upgraded with modern projections, synchronized music, and crisp digital effects. Even with all of these iterations, they all share the same DNA: darkness, light, and that sense of interstellar flight. When Space Mountain debuted, it redefined what a roller coaster could be. It wasn't about height or speed, it was about storytelling and immersion. It proved that roller coasters could belong in Disney parks without breaking the illusion of theme. It also influenced countless future attractions. Rides like Tron Light Cycle Run and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind owe much of their DNA to Space Mountain's blend of coaster technology and showmanship. Even non-Disney rides around the world borrowed from its playbook: darkness, light, and sensory manipulation. Space Mountain taught the industry that thrills could be emotional and not just physical. For generations, Space Mountain has represented a rite of passage. It's often a child's first big coaster, and one they never forget. It's a symbol of both Disney nostalgia and the company's forward-thinking spirit. Even decades later, it continues to deliver a sense of awe. There's something magical about blasting into darkness, hearing that soundtrack swell, and realizing you're part of something that's inspired millions before you. From its 1970s origins to its modern incarnations, Space Mountain remains the heart of Tomorrowland, a reminder that the future will always be thrilling. Space Mountain is proof that even the simplest ride systems can create something timeless when paired with imagination. It doesn't need the highest speed or biggest drop. It has mystery, emotion, and legacy. Thank you for watching episode 38 of Sunday Ride Showcase. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes, and ultimately to help me out. That helps me out more than you know. Until next time, I'll see you in the queue.